think a lot of people don't understand how powerful gates can be on the sound and total impact of your drums. In fact, take this. This is no gates on. And now compare it to this, which is all the gates on. That is a huge difference. And obviously, I'm going to show you how I did that, but I'm going to show you how I did it in a way that is 100% accurate and never misfires, so that my gates don't close off or let out anything other than what I tell them. And it's a total game changer, if I'm honest. Welcome to the video. My name is Malcolm Owen-Flood, and if you like mixing, mastering, and recording, this is the channel for you. Please do subscribe. Would love to have you here. And yeah, today we're going to cover drum gates and how to make them transform your drum sound, like I just showed you, and how to do it in a way that is 100% foolproof as well. The first thing I think we should do is look at how gates can shape a sound more so than just be thought of as a utility, because at their core function, yeah, they just don't allow audio out unless a threshold is hit, and then it allows that audio out. So you can think of it as just a way of cleaning up the tracks. But by messing with the decay and release, you can actually shape the whole sound of the drum as well. And that is really crucial, I think. So let's look at our kick drum, for example. We wanted really short, punchy drums on this song. So kick drum without the gate. Now with the gate. Almost has like an EDM club vibe to it. It's like, yeah, it's aggressive and it's totally transformed. One more time without. And with. Great. Now let's look at the snare. Let's start with the gate off. And that actually sounds great, and I like the decay on it, the sustain of the drum. But for this song, again, we wanted these really short. We're going for a style. So we shortened it up. Let's throw the kick in. Almost gives it this electronic drum vibe, and that's kind of exactly what we were going for, something totally not normal. And then there's, of course, the toms. Now, the toms, the gates were being used more traditionally to just make it so that we didn't have all this noise happening all the time, because with the gates off, like, you don't want that happening the whole song, right? So gates on, kind of clean that up, but they also did kind of tighten up our drum sound as well. And the cool thing about all of these examples is that once you do that and you really eliminate all of the bleed, you can really go crazy with how you distort things and make them aggressive and punchy and compress them and EQ them, because you don't have to worry about the artifacts of all of that screwing up everything else. So what I'm going to do just to really get that point across is, again, play it with and without, and then I'm going to edit them together so that it just seamlessly goes from without gate to with gate to without gate to with gate. And yeah, it's just, there's no brainer comparison. That's a wild change for just going from gates on and off. That's all that's being changed there, is just the gates. Obviously, gates are valuable and powerful. Now we got to look into how we're using them and how we can make sure that they don't misfire and blast open when something else loud happens, because that can happen. You know, if you've got your gate on your toms, but then the crash above it is hit, it might fire that. And that's a bit of a problem. I don't like worrying about that stuff, and I've run into problems with that before. So this method removes all of that. It's really genius, honestly. I didn't think of it, but it is genius. So first, let's look at our gate and just kind of get an idea of the parameters. So if we're looking at our kick drum, we can dial in our release time and our hold time. Those are the two things I'm primarily using to decide the sustain that I'm allowing the drum to still have. And the longer the drum actually is in real life, the more wiggle room you have to fine tune it, but you do want to get it as close as you can in the room. In the case of this album, we were going to have different sustaining amounts depending on the song. So we went with a really good natural sounding drum kit. It was teched professionally and it sounded awesome. But then for certain songs like this song, I really clamped down on them and made it very tight and short. Now, the other thing you want to notice here is that up at this sidechain insert button, we have a kick spike on, and that is the secret here, that we are using sidechain input to decide when the gates open rather than the actual audio of the drum itself, because it's the audio of the drum itself that is going to be prone to failure because of the reasons I mentioned earlier, of maybe something else be close to that microphone getting hit that is loud enough to trigger the gate to open. We don't want that. So key spikes, and that's the key phrase, key spikes is the solution. Let me show you my key spikes. So right here, all of these yellow tracks are my key spikes. And essentially, they are little audio blips that I've gone through and placed exactly where the transients of our drum hits are. So all of these ones I'm highlighting right here are the hits that line up with the exact transient of my kick drum. So I can pull my kick drum up here and actually visually look at that if you would like. And there we go. Let's hide that. This little blip, which sounds like just a little tick, happens exactly when the start of the kick happens. And that goes through the whole song. And I've done that for every close shell. I've got that for my kick, my snare, and it looks like I only bothered with a couple toms. I didn't do, oh no, my third tom's just hidden, it looks like. Yep, did all my toms as well. So every close mic has a corresponding key spikes kind of created for it. And I think I've got another video on how I did that. I'll put it up here. It's called Massey DRT is the tool I use. But know that you can also use like MIDI to do the same thing. Audio is just my preferred way. But these key spikes are so helpful because now I can go back to my gate on, say, this kick drum and select that kick spike as my input for the kick. And then I have to choose it to detect from the sidechain. And now that's the only signal coming in. So if we look at the signal of our threshold here, it's just the hits that I've programmed in there. So it's 100% accurate. And that is just like, once I've done this, I don't have to think about it again for the remainder of the project. It's done. And it actually has some more bonus uses as well. So this is kind of the cream of the crop stuff that is on top of that, is that I can use those same key spikes to sidechain anything else in the session. So for example, we might want to duck the low end of our bass guitar to get out of the way of our kick drum. And I can just do it with the same thing. Got a multiband compressor here, set the sidechain to our kick spike, and now the bass guitar should duck whenever the kick drum hits. And if that waveform doesn't look timed with the audio you're hearing, it's because I have some crazy plugins running in this session. So the master delay compensation, it's delayed. Ignore that. It is right. But yeah, so I can use it to do that. I could use, I could duck the snare out of the overheads if I wanted, or whatever you want. You have these key commands to let you do anything you need, these key spikes, I should say, to let you do whatever you need. That's kind of the whole thing, is that don't underestimate gates in general, because they can transform a drum sound, as you have heard. But then this way of doing it is so helpful. I mix every song with key spikes. It's a mandatory part of my process. I do it every single time now because my gates fire 100% of the time accurately. I can sidechain whatever else I want off the drums from these same key spikes. And then also my triggers, if I'm using drum triggers or samples, are also 100% accurate. So if I didn't want the bass to sidechain at a certain section, I could just mute this one little section, and now that channel is no longer receiving for those hits. So it's as simple as editing the wave file just to make whatever behavior I want to happen. So it's actually pretty simple once you wrap your head around it, but it's just something not a lot of people are doing. I highly encourage you mess around with it, see if it works for your workflow. But at the very least, experiment with gates, because they can just make drums so different than you think they can be, as proven with this. It's just like, whoa, that's a big change. And yeah, it's something I'm super passionate about. I love how that sounds. It's a unique sound, and it lets you mangle drums in new creative ways because there's like no bleed anywhere. So try it out, see what you think. And if you enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up and comment down below. Would love to hear from you. And I've got another video coming up for you right here and here. We'll see you in the next one.